Hello and welcome to the fifth video of my MTA Introduction to Programming Using Java. So the point of these videos is to try and give you the information and get you understanding the information as quickly as possible. So today we're going to be looking at variables. Now the key points that you need to learn, not just for variables but for creating objects as well later on. When you're creating any kind of data type, the first thing that you need to do is put the data type and then the data type's name. So in a variable case, you need to put the data type for int because we're using it to store a number, the name of that variable, and then the value. And that value must link up to that data type. And we talked a little bit about data types and return types in the last video. Additionally, you can also write more than one variable on the same line if it's the same type. So for example, you've got three variables here, number 1, number 2, number 3, and using one data type to declare them all. All variables must be identified with unique names. In addition, you can't use any Java keywords when you're naming a variable. So there is a lot of good naming practices that are around, and what I've done is I've included them below the line for further reading. Okay, let's go straight into some code and some questions. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to look at these codes and try and answer the questions. So pause the video and see if you can answer it. So hopefully you've paused the video. Let's go through them. Number 1, what are the three things you need to make a variable? Well, let's look at here. You need the data type of that variable, the name of that variable, and then you need for now we're just going to say you need the value as well, and that's what you're going to put in that variable. What is wrong with code 1 and how would you change it to make it correct? Well, remember what we said, you can put multiple variables on one line, but they have to be the same type. So the first one here is an integer, it's an int. The second one is a char because it's got the single quotes and a single character. So that matches up fine. But the third one, this is a boolean. So they're not the same type, they're different types. So what you would have to do is you would have to change the value here and you can change it, let's say, to A, and let's change this to C. Or, if you want, you could separate these onto individual lines and then create individual data types for each variable. So B could be on the second line saying int, so A could be on the first line, int A53, B could be on the next line, char BH, and then C could be on the next line, boolean C true. So you could do that in a number of ways. What is wrong with code 2? Well, the value here matches up with the data type, so that's fine. But the name of the variable is int, and that is a key word, so the name is bad. So you need to change it to almost any other name except for a Java keyword. What about number 3? So they're all wrong. So you could either change this one to a boolean because it's true. You could change this one to a string if you put it in double quotation marks, or you could delete the other other characters, and you could only have one character. Here, number 3, you can either change this data type to an int, so it could be going like that, or if you don't want that, you can change the value into a double quotation marks, include your text, and then close it off. The same thing here, I would say get rid of this data type and just put that string data type in. Okay, so the last one, are the names of the variables good? So there are no good variable names here at all. probably because I named them. Why? Because they're not very descriptive. Unless you're going to be using this and then disposing it of that variable in the next line or two, you don't want to use A, B, C, and D. You want to use some descriptive names. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the video now. Let's have a look at how well you can remember the information from the video. So if you're able to tell me how to make a variable, brilliant. If you can think of what you must pay attention to if you create 3 variables with one line, if you can answer that, that's even better. And if you can leave a comment answering what kind of things you will think about when you create your variable names, that will be the best. So do try and leave that comment and answer that one. Again, if you want to continue watching these and learning as we go along, please subscribe and like the video if you thought it was useful. And I'll see you in the next video.